morning, and welcome into this discussion about energetic interferences and how they map to preventing ancestral healing. And this is part of our Frequency Fridays, which we do. We're going to talk about an hour here. We're going to discuss a very specific kind of interference today called an energy marker or an interference field. And once we're done talking about the specifics of the frequency, the vibration of what energy markers are, then we will do a guided meditation and help you clear out some of those energy markers, which are likely keeping you stuck. So, whenever we see people who are really stuck, like they're in a loop, they can't break free, or they feel like they're doing work and they're being rebounded back, a lot of times energy markers are often the thing that is causing all of that to happen. So again, today in our work, we're going to do a short experience where you are going to locate and clear any energy markers that you're carrying. And they could be energy markers from this lifetime, and they could be energy markers that were passed down to you. But again, the goal today is to clear out those energy markers so that you can have a burst of healing, so that you can get unstuck and hopefully clear out some of these ancestral behaviors, beliefs, dynamics that we just don't need anymore. So that's what the plan is for today. Kat, do you want to say good morning to everybody? Good afternoon, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. I was saying hello in the chat, so we couldn't get over right away, but we are so delighted you're here today with us. Welcome, Andrea, Carolyn, Jalen. Excited for this room on energy markers. I think I need it for myself today as well. But if you're new to the room, we've been doing this room since the beginning of October, talking a lot about energy on different levels, particularly linking it back to ancestral healing. The theme for November is interferences that are stopping us somehow in our life. Every Friday we'll have a different topic, and we are just going to jam from there. Today, Kristin's going to lead most of it. She's going to talk about some of the technical parts behind it, and then when she does the guided meditation, we will all really sink in and enjoy it. And we'll open up the room after that for hand raising, for Q&A, for feedback if you would love to share anything that's on your heart or mind, post that experience. But Kristin, I'm so looking forward to this today. So I'm going to pass it back to you. So let's just dive in.
Sure. And as Kat mentioned, we're going to spend the whole month of November talking about interferences. And then in December, we'll spend our Frequency Fridays talking about darkness, which we're so looking forward to. But we do sort of feel like this discussion about interferences in November is a lead up a little bit to that discussion of the darkness. So just wanted to let everybody know that there is a link up at the top if you want to opt in. It's just an email list, and it really is just to keep you posted when we do these group chats. So that's there if you would like to give yourself a little bit of an edge to try to remember. I know we're all very, very busy, and sometimes those reminder emails can be helpful. So why don't we start at the top then and talk about what interferences are? Again, we're going to be spending the whole month of November talking and clearing interferences out of our life. So interferences are exactly what they sound like. They are energetic, okay? Their frequency, their vibration, and interferences literally are blocks, leaks, anything that prevents you from achieving energetic wholeness, from achieving the flow fully through your body, through your energy field, through your multidimensionality also. And interferences include things like entities. I think we're going to talk about those in December. But, entities are just disembodied spirits who are looking for, they still want to be in physical form, and they tend to attach and create havoc in our lives. I would say entities are probably the biggest or most well-known category of interferences. You can also get groups of entities together. We call those legions. There's also entities like forces. Those are energy that has never taken physical form, but they can exert influence on the physical world. So forces are another really big one that we see. And then you probably know too, interferences can be something as simple as cords, right? You can have cords that are connecting you to other people or to other energies. And other interferences, sometimes we talk about implants. That's just code, energetic code that's kind of been implanted into you that doesn't quite belong there. But again, it's just preventing you from living your full life and your full potential. So that's just kind of starting at the top. Kat, did you have any other, do you, what, when, if someone asked you, what do we mean by interferences? What would you say?
I would say go away. No, I'm just kidding. I would say that, at least in my experience for myself and clients that I've worked with, that the interferences, like you said, their frequency, they're energetic, but they, in my experience, really can originate from like emotional trauma, toxin scars, implants. I love how you mentioned cords. That's one of my favorite things to work with. But they show up like when that emotional stuff happens and we in a pattern and we don't know where it's coming from, or it's on repeat all the time and we haven't gotten rid of it, versus the things that, they show up, we deal with it, it goes away. But it's those really tricky ones that stay stuck with us when I think of interference in my experience. And the most effective way to really work with those stuck ones has been through the energy field. So I don't know, I don't have a lot more to say on it, but I'm looking forward to today asking more questions, Kristin, as it comes up.
Great. Sounds great. Thanks, Kat. So I think you're all getting a feeling for what we mean by interferences. And so let's dive in to talk a little bit about what we mean by energy markers. Energy markers are a very specific type of energy, and I like to imagine them as tags or imprints or signatures that get stuck in your biofield, in your DNA, in your grounding, in your chakras. Really, these energy markers are very concentrated pockets of energy that can sit anywhere within your energy body or your physical body. And to me, they do two things. They keep you stuck in old patterns. So, energy markers are the things that keep you in that loop. And when it comes to ancestral healing, a lot of times it's keeping you in a karmic loop. So you are looping through everything that your ancestors have given you in terms of generational wounds. So now we're talking about patterns that were developed by your ancestors from trauma, from beliefs, from relationship dynamics. And those energy markers internally just again keep you on that loop. The other thing that energy markers do, and this is the thing that I see most commonly, is they act as beacons. And what they do is, so again, if you just imagine a very concentrated pocket of energy somewhere in your energy field or in your body, and they're sending out a signal, and what that signal does is it just draws in similar experiences. And that beacon, as it's sending out that symbol, you can heal a wound and that beacon will reopen it, right? And a lot of times, too, that beacon is attracting in the chords, it's attracting in the entities. So it's a core interference that can attract other interferences in there as well. So, um, one of my teachers, Cindy Dale, she says when she sees energy markers in people's bodies, she sees them as an X. So she's looking at someone's biofield and she's like, I see the X over, your left shoulder, or, so again, if I just picture, in modern terms, I would say it's almost like having an air tag in your field, right? And it's this air tag that lets similar experiences find you wherever you go, no matter how much work that you do. So, again, the energy markers are really these things that keep you stuck, that keep you looping. No matter how much work you do, you can gain one step forward in your healing, and the energy marker will pull you two steps back. So, um, they drain your field. They have your chakras under functioning. Oftentimes, they re-trigger your stress responses, right? So again, the healing, you can make some steps in healing and you're just going to slide right back to this old set point. And it really is inviting those repeat patterns. And it's a lot of fatigue with these energy markers, because if you imagine you're trying so hard and you're putting so much effort into it and you're not making any gains. So again, it is kind of like this locator tag in your energetic DNA. And it's making sure that some of those unresolved patterns in your lineage just still vibrate all the way down the line. So how do they manifest? I just want to talk about a couple symptoms about manifesting. Again, some of the things we've already talked about, recurring life themes, and I wanted to give examples of these. So sometimes energy markers act as a beacon and they're pulling in ancestral patterns like poverty, addiction, betrayal, repression. And again, these are patterns that may not necessarily match your personal experiences. And again, this is something very common that we see where people are having a really great life, and yet they're carrying around this burden and they're feeling betrayal. They're having issues with poverty and they just can't quite figure it out. These energy markers also are often attributed to some of the emotional heaviness, the grief, the anxiety, anything that you're like, God, this just doesn't feel like mine. A lot of times it's an energy marker pulling it in. And again, the thing that I see that is most frustrating is the relapse after spiritual work. So a lot of times people will go through all these programs, they'll have all these awakenings, they're feeling really good, like they're making progress, and then it literally like they snap right back to where they were prior to the spiritual healing. And again, it's that energy marker kind of pulling you back and making you slide. So um, that's pretty much it. It's a really simple concept. There's not much more to say about it, but they can be super impactful when we release them. So, Kat, I wanted to see if you had any anecdotes or if you have anything else you want to add on this kind of interference, and then we might jump right into the experience.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I wanted to say, when you were speaking about energy markers, Kristin, and then what Dale had to say about the X, I love how you brought it more modern with the air tag, but I was like, X marks the spot, right? So like if we can focus on that X, we can really know where to hone in and do some of the energy medicine and the energy clearing to not be stuck in those repeated loops and patterns. And so I really love that visual. I don't think I'd heard it that way with the X before. So thank you for sharing that. But I think you did a great job explaining it. So rather than rehash anything, maybe we could just dive into the experience and open hand raising for people that have been here with us that want to ask questions or come to the stage and offer feedback about the experience or anything else, if that's okay, Kristin.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I think too, after the experience, sometimes too, it always takes, I mean, we've seen this for years, Kat, right? Both on Clubhouse and when we do our gatherings over Zoom. After the experience, sometimes it takes people a little while to find their voices again because we get so um, in depth in the experience. And maybe in that transition time, we can also tell some stories about energy markers and the way that they've touched our own lives, I think, because the stories always make it real. So, okay, let's go ahead, everybody. And if you're ready to do a tiny bit of work, we can go ahead and get started. So, why don't you find a very comfortable place? And again, there's no right way to do this. You don't have to sit in lotus or, um, you can lie down just however it is you are fully comfortable so that your body can relax a little bit. And then, if it feels good to you and you want to go ahead and close your eyes and start to bring your awareness from your outside world into your body. And even if your body is uncomfortable, it's okay. Just try to start to feel the sensations. If you can feel your energy, that's also great. And your goal right now is just awareness. So there's no trying to change anything, no judgment. You're perfect exactly where you are in this moment. And with your awareness in your body, let's take 3 deep breaths together. Take one more natural breath. And now let's all take a really deep inhale into your belly, your back, and your sides. And do a complete exhale and relax your neck, your jaw, your shoulders. Let it go. And a deep inhale into your hips, into your belly. Fill yourself up. And a complete exhale, releasing all your stale air. One more really deep inhale from your tailbone all the way up into your throat, into your nose, and maybe side out. Really complete exhale, relaxing your muscles, unclenching your belly, releasing your tailbone, and return to your natural breath. And again, bring your awareness deeper into your belly, into your heart. And give yourself permission for the next 15 minutes to just ignore everything in your outside world. Settle in, find some stillness. Now let's all move our awareness into the very center of our heart chakra. And imagine a door opening, a window, and let your spirit's energy just flood into your body, into your aura, into your grounding. Just really unleash yourself as a spirit. And greet yourself as a spirit. And turn this whole process over so that it is spirit-led. And from the awareness inside your heart, let's go ahead now and just acknowledge source energy, whether you call that God, whether you call that universe. But let's just acknowledge, and source energy, it's all around you, it's within you, it's here to support you. Let's at the same time acknowledge Mother Earth and her energy. And she's also existing within you and around you. And Mother Earth's energy is really going to help you integrate change into your body and into this lifetime. You are the perfect mix of your spirit, earth, and universe. So release the valve on those a little bit and just let yourself get filled up. And what we're doing is we're really preparing this foundation so that we can clear these energy markers from our body and our energy. Maybe take one more deep breath in. Just fill yourself up with energy, with light. And exhale. And now we're going to call in a very special spirit guide who is going to help you remove these energy markers in a very easy, gentle, and complete way. So I want you to imagine that you have a spirit guide who's a specialist, an energy marker specialist. And they are the most benevolent, the best of the best. And invite them in and just become aware of whatever it is that you sense about the spirit guide. And greet the spirit guide, thank them for being here. And together with this energy marker specialist, set the intention. I release all energy markers from my body, from my DNA, from my energy field, completely, immediately, and permanently. and your guide's going to help you with that. So go ahead now, and I want you to bring your awareness deep into your heart, tap into your inner world, and let's begin by locating any energy markers that exist in body, in your aura, in your grounding. So take a deep breath and ask your energy marker spirit guide to show you where your energy markers are located, and take a moment. Whatever comes to you is perfect. And if you have more than one energy marker, which is totally fine, wait, let's back up for a second. If everyone can take a deep breath, and let's release any shame that you might be feeling around having these energy markers. And maybe even give a little bit of a laugh. We all have them. It's okay. There's no blame, there's no guilt. So imagine yourself shaking off these lower vibrations of shame and guilt. Any constriction that you have against acknowledging with neutrality that you have energy markers. Okay, no biggie. And maybe you just feel like an energy, like an energy shower, energy water, just from the top, just washing down. Let it just wash away any shame, guilt, blame, anything. Let it just wash away fear, any constriction. Just let it wash into Mother Earth. And if you can, maybe even find some pride. Look at you, acknowledging your energy markers. Great job. You can even send love and gratitude to your energy markers as well. That's a really great way to start to loosen them up. And if you can't do that, that's okay too. Just see if you can find yourself in neutrality. All right, choose one energy marker and bring your awareness to it. And just sense what you sense about it. Is it spiky? Is it a pinpoint? Is it rooted deep? Is it on the surface? Just whatever it is, just take a moment to observe it. And again, in just the witnessing, you can start to loosen it up. You don't have to do anything, you just have to look. And now sit back and relax and ask your spirit guide, your energy marker specialist, to put on these special gloves of pure divine light, the perfect recipe of light and sound. And this spirit guide is going to use these gloved hands, and they're going to, right now, when you're ready, take a breath and ask your spirit guide to go in with the hands of light and very gently capture your energy marker and remove it at the perfect pace for you from your body, from your energy, and it's being removed completely. And as your spirit guide removes it, it's going to encapsulate it in a ball, and it's going to send it back to source energy, where it will stay permanently. And now let's go ahead, any other energy markers that you might have, ask your spirit guide, your energy marker specialist, to use their hands of light and sound to go in, capture, and remove that energy marker and return it back to source forever. Just take a few minutes, and if you don't have any energy markers, that's okay. Just use your awareness to feel into these spaces and see if you sense anything different. Again, this is just a very soothing, nurturing experience. You can ask this guide now just literally to run these hands of light and sound through your body, through your biofield, through your grounding, and just remove everything that doesn't belong to you, that belongs somewhere else. Capture it, cage it in a ball of light and sound, and send it back to source. And if you still have some energy markers to go, that's okay. You can always return. But I would like all of us now as a group to move our awareness down into our 10th chakra. So down your central meridian into that Earth Star chakra located 2 feet below your feet. And just imagine this energy center that holds your ancestral patterns. And ask your energy marker specialist to go through your 10th chakra with the hands of light and sound and remove all energy markers that are holding you in karmic loops. And let's just get all those energy markers removed. And these hands of light and sound are very lovingly and gently removing them, encapsulating them in balls of light, sending them back to source forever. And again, if you still have energy markers to remove, you can continue to do that. You can come back to it. I like to try to not do too much all at once, so really sense which pace is perfect for you. But now let's all go ahead and imagine liquid gold, and it's going to flood through your body and your aura and let it fill in the spaces where the energy markers used to be. And through this liquid gold, it's just the final layer of healing, of filling in your energetic codes to completion, and providing all that ancestral wisdom that may have been lost just through the presence of the energy marker. But fill yourself with gold with the intention that it heals and completes. All right, when you're ready, bring your awareness back into your heart. Find some stillness there. Maybe ask this very special guide to come in front of you so that you can say thank you. You can ask them to stay with you too and just continue the gentle removal of energy markers if you still have some. Because even though we're bringing this experience to closure, your healing will continue, again at the perfect pace. I am resistance to ending the experience. So let's all just take a minute, take a deep breath into our hearts, and release. If you have any other guides you want to call in now, just to give you that extra nurturing, sometimes letting go can be really difficult, especially when we're used to having an energy marker taking up space somewhere in our body when it's gone. Even though it's healing, it can sometimes be uncomfortable. So it's okay. Just ask your guides, ask your spirit just to assure, nurture, love, compassion. Again, maybe a little bit of that humor, some of that little bit of pride, healthy pride for this work that you've done. Very good. I'm still feeling a little bit of constriction around the heart for everybody. It's okay. Let's breathe into it. Let's just take one really deep breath into our hearts and exhale. Again, just say thank you to all your guides. They're always going to stay with you and help you continue the healing. Let's start to bring ourselves back into our body. So, again, start to feel the sensations in your muscles and your posture. And as we come back, start to bring movement into your body. Maybe do a twist, and we can just come to completion here. So, when you feel ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes, come back into the room. And just sense awareness. Do you feel any different? Are your emotions different? Is your perspective different? If you're able to, you want to stand up and take a few steps into your life with this new energy, this healed energy. Maybe there's a lightness now that those energy markers are gone. Whatever it is you feel is perfect. And really congratulate yourself on that work. Energy markers are tough. A lot of times they've been in our lineage for so long that it's hard for us to let go. They become part of us, and sometimes it's hard to really let those go. I'm still feeling a little bit of resistance there, but I think everyone did really important work today, and I think that the healing will continue. So, with that, we'll just kind of bring that circle of closure in. We're back into the present moment, and I'll pause and Kat, see if you have anything that you want to discuss or any observations that you made. We can share a little bit about our experiences.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kristin, for that beautiful guided meditation. It was really lovely and soothing. I could feel when we talked before the meditation about the energy markers and the X marks the spot, like that X on my right shoulder just dissolving back into the ethers and releasing. So that was really powerful. Thank you. And for those of you who are just joining the room, like mid meditation, earlier, we started the room by speaking about what energy markers are, and Kristin gave us a rundown on that from the energy experience and things that you can look for. And then we went into the guided experience. So if that appeals to you, you can go back and watch the replay. But what we'll do now is open the room to anyone that wants to come up and share about the experience, has any questions about energy markers or anything else related to interferences. We'll be doing interferences all month through November on Fridays. So we will, I don't have a lot of observations, Kristin. It just felt really good. And I know you talked about the constriction still, or restriction. I think some of that was actually me. And Carolyn has her hand up. So Carolyn, welcome to the room. Is there something you'd like to share or ask a question on?
Yes, God morning to you, ladies. Thank you. I'm truly blessed today that the first thing in the rising, your room came up, and I thought that was interesting because I feel like I just went through something that would really help with what you ladies are doing today. And as I was going through the meditation, it was very powerful. I know that I'm probably going to have to go back and do a little bit more work. I was my question was during the energy markers, and it's not a question, it's just a share, is that I felt like I immediately saw my guy come in beautiful. She was almost like a uh, opal color, like a long, translucent opal being that just came in immediately. Like, I mean, she rushed in. And so the hands and everything moving the energy, but I'm concerned about the energy markers or the ancestral markers because immediately my body identified them. But when I'm telling you that it felt like I'm going to need a scraping, it almost looked like scabs. And so there was like a power washing when you were like, imagine that this water was coming down. It was the amount of water and power of that water to try to unscale or unearth or dig or get that scabbing off was really intense. So I'm going to have to probably go back and listen to your meditation more to do it a couple more times. Um, but then I did get a flow of when there were other energy markers that were released back up into source. I saw a lot of it. I know this sounds funny, but it was almost like a bubble gun. Like, when you blow bubbles, there were so many. It was like all these bubbles were just going up into the universe, like boop, 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 just releasing a lot of that stuff. And then when you said um, there was another guy that came in, and we were doing the gold, when you said fill myself up with gold, there was this amazing another guy that came in that was all gold. Not only did the gold fill up the spaces that were released, but then this being of gold on a horseback came in, very strong, very powerful, and told me that it would be back. Like, call me when you need me, I'll be back.
That's
So,
Carolyn, that's awesome. There's so much about your experience. Thank you so much for sharing.
yeah,
Can I ask how are you feeling though? Like, just
I'm,
sometimes, yeah, releasing energy markers, it often is intense, right? They're intense pockets of energy, so when you release them, it's intense. But I want to just do a quick check-in, make sure you're doing okay.
yeah, my body is feeling, I feel, I feel, I feel a release in some spots. And then I almost feel like because now I identified them, I can still feel some of where there's some stuck, like they feel heavy. It feels like a brick.
Yeah, I've actually heard people talk about energy markers as scar tissue, like scar tissue
Yes.
in your
Yeah,
lineage.
that's what it
Yeah.
feels like. Yeah, it feels heavy, like it's stuck, you know?
This is actually a very common experience. Um, we try to, because it is possible energetically to just 100% get that energy marker out of there in the moment. When we work on the quantum level like this, things can be complete and instantaneous. But we're also human. And the stickiness that you talked about, we see that so much. Like, probably the most common things we hear about are stickiness and shadows. It's like when people are removing interferences, even though we get most of it, a lot of people do feel like the sticky, or they feel like, gosh, there's just a shadow left. And you
Mhm.
can look at it, but you can't quite see it, or sometimes you can see it in your periphery. So yeah, I just wanted to reassure you that I do think um, it's all very common, and yeah, just keep going at it, because you may just need to go in there and remove it, and there might be a reason that we may never understand to why you have to do it in layers too, right? So
Yeah.
there could just be something else first that is like, oh, we're doing this. Like, your spirit might be like, okay, oh, we're doing this. Okay, pause. Let me take care, like, let me get your first chakra ready to really embody the changes that you're making. So, your energy, it's a whole system, right? And what you're doing is you're improving one location in your system, and you might just need, you know, you seem like a very complex, like beautifully complex human. I think maybe you just might need to do this in layers.
Oh, absolutely. Because I can feel one side of my body that's running high on the energy and frequency. And that's why I can identify the stuck spots. because there's no fluidity, right? So I know my body well enough, my energy well enough, that I know that I run a high stream of frequency. And so when it's like whoo, 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 and then it's just like a traffic jam, and then all of a sudden you feel these little congested spots. Like I'm like, ooh, that feels sticky over here on this left, on the right side of my face, or my arm feels sticky, and my leg. So those three spots were identified earlier, but that's when the scraping had to was happening, and I just don't think they got it all out. So I'm very
Yeah.
aware, very aware. I have to go back in and take care of that. But thank you so much for that meditation. I would have never, um, well, not I, but I'm glad that my my guides and angels led me to this room this morning to even partake in such a wonderful meditation and healing. So thank you, ladies, very much.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for being here. Kat, do you have anything to add? I know like the scraping, the stickiness. I know you have a lot of energy healing work.
Um, well, Carolyn, thank you for coming to the stage and sharing your experience with us. I wasn't focused as much on the scraping and the sticking. When you were describing your experience, what was coming forward was the energy that was flowing into you. When you talked about your opal guide, and the color gold, I would invite you to just call more of that in, like the gold, to flush out that stickiness or anything else that's interfering. In addition to the meditation, just call in what you would love, call in how you would want to feel, and the things that are helping continue to release, remove, or dissolve the energy markers or anything else for that matter, and focus on the things that light you up. But when you were talking about that, my whole body was just like a glow. So I would invite you to focus on some of that energy as well and not get too stuck or sticky on the things that are tripping you up. Just let them go. So thank you for answering the call to your guides that led you here. We really appreciate you. You've been here since the top of the hour. So thank you, Carolyn, for that.
Thank you
And
so much. I will absolutely, because that guy came in so quickly that that's absolutely what I will do on both of them. The guy, the opal one and the gold one that came in on the horse and said, just call on me, I'll be back. So thank you for reminding me that that's all I have to do. Thank you.
you're welcome. That's awesome. And Kristin, before I come pass the mic to you, I just wanted to say hello to Andrea, Albert, Gemma, Todd. Thank you for being here. Guy, who just popped in, if you'd also like to come to the stage, we have about 18 or so minutes left. We really appreciate your time, your presence, your energy. And even if you can't come to the stage, hopefully you're getting stuff out of this. But Kristin, back to you for energy markers.
Yeah, Kat is bringing up a really good point, and this is where so Kat and I sometimes are on opposite ends of like the polarity spectrum when it comes to energy healing. I'm focusing on clearing, Kat's focusing on filling, and I think Kat, you just reminded us that you don't even have to do any clearing. You can literally just fill yourself up with that energy. And when you're full of that energy, there actually isn't room for anything else, right? So, yeah, don't stay so focused on the actual clearing and removal, but maybe it is just that pouring in of that energy. And Carolyn, for you, it sounds like it was the gold and the opalescent, like whatever comes forward for you or whatever your guide is showing you. And I'm actually feeling it happening right now for myself, but maybe also for the group field is, just trust that when you fill yourself up like that, it's just going to, it's like a coffee filter, right? It's just going to pop everything else out that doesn't belong. So thanks, Kat, for that reminder. That was really beautiful. All right. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. It's a super quiet group today. I love that. If people don't have anything else, I think, again, this is one I think that's worth listening to the replay. And a very simple concept, these energy markers, but with a powerful punch for actually seeing meaningful results. So I was thinking about a story. Kat, I don't know, do you have any stories about energy markers being removed? I have one or two stories we could tell just to kind of highlight.
Yeah, that would be great. And I don't know if you're thinking of a similar story, because we've had some clients that we've worked on jointly or in partnership with a third healer and coach as well. And I am thinking of one of our clients from overseas. I don't know if it's the same one. So if we're thinking about the same one, let's jam on it. If not, you could start and we can just see where it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about that one because that was a
Okay.
pretty big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Crazy enough, ancestrally, there was an energy marker and it affected both lineages, which is again not something we typically see. So normally we'll see like the maternal lineage or the paternal lineage, but what was happening here was it was everywhere. Like this energy marker was almost being perpetuated and replicated as the generations went through, and even family that married in family members were starting to take on the energy marker too. So a really interesting comment on how things happen in the unseen field around us. But it did have to do with the newest generation that was being affected. And gosh, Kat, we worked. Carolyn, this is actually a good um, kind of example. We worked on it for 18 months, I think, with this family, and by the end of it, I think there was, in that final generation, those babies that were born, they did not have that energy marker any longer. So yeah, sometimes it takes a little doing.
Yeah. Can I add to that story, Kristin? Because that's who I was
Yeah.
thinking of when you're, yeah. So just to know that not everyone's going to take 18 months to work through an energy marker. We were working with a very prominent global family that spanned a business from 2 different continents and sold worldwide. And most of the family members worked for this company. So it was very enmeshed and interwoven. And not all the family members consciously would come forward to work on this. Oftentimes what we see in ancestral healing, that there's one cycle breaker, one catalyst that steps forward and says, I'm going to do this work in some kind of capacity. It often starts with the self. It ripples out into the family. And the generations that we were seeing as we worked on the ancestral markers were actually all living 3 generations, like, the matriarch and patriarch, their children, and the grandchildren, what Kristin was saying. It was really affecting the youngest generations. And when we do this work, like it ripples out so powerfully. And we worked still in the ancestral lineage as well and worked on stuff. And the results that happen were really palpable over time. And because we had the honor of working with them as a family at length, we really got to see and notice the shifts and really learn from them as well, in how when we do not just energy markers, but all kinds of energy work combined with other transformational work, it is powerful what can be done in the energy field and what ripples out into real life for people. So I would say, if you are struggling, we talked about at the beginning of this, with any type of repeated pattern that hasn't worked from other types of healing, give yourself the opportunity to lean into some type of ancestral lineage work or energy markers, because it doesn't always start with you. There's a great book by, I think it's a psychologist. Kristin, do you remember his name? Mark? I can't remember his name, but it's called It Didn't Start With Me, or It Doesn't Start With You, something to that effect. That any type of this work, when we're stuck in ourselves, there's usually a deeper layer that came before us. And if you can be open-minded enough to just start to play with it and have a little fun with it, don't be afraid of it. It can oftentimes impact you for not just in that moment, but days and weeks and years to come, and ripple out to the people in front of you and alongside of you as well. But it was really powerful when that particular family member came forward to continue to work on the energy marker. So I'm going to pause there, Kristin, and pass it back to you. But hopefully that's inspired people to keep going with this work if it's unfamiliar to them.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think one of the things that came up during the meditation was this very prominent frequency or vibration of shame and guilt. And I just wanted to touch on that too a little bit and with a story. And then Andrea, welcome to the stage. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. But Kat, something you just said, this book, it didn't start with me. We inherit a lot of ancestral patterns, and sometimes it's not just the guilt of carrying them, it's the guilt of letting them go, right? Because a lot of times we think, well, our ancestors suffered, who am I to let go of that suffering? Because sometimes it feels like we're not honoring them by having the same experience. And I think one of the things that we wanted to mention, especially through that story of the three generations, is that you're healing yourself, but you're also healing the ancestors that have already passed, right? Or at least you're offering the healing frequencies to run up and down the lines for the ancestors that came before you and the ones that will come after you. So again, it gets complicated because we are human and we do have a sense of loyalty to our ancestors and to our heritage. And I don't know, sometimes that can be enough to really lock those energy markers in place. So I just wanted to mention that. So thank you. Andrea, welcome to the stage. And we would love to hear about your experience, either with energy markers or with the guided meditation. So the mic is yours.
Hi, yeah, it was great. I loved it. I thought it was interesting that my energy markers were all appeared on the back of my body. I was like, I wonder if there's some significance to that. Or it could be just because I recently rescreened The Matrix. And I'm like, am I just like picturing? So I was kind of picturing the way the people in The Matrix are plugged in with the little cords with the kind of like pops out like a little plug or something. Anyway, I don't know, maybe that was just me, but that's the way I was like picturing it. And so then whenever like it was like a kind of so I was picturing it was like a spike, but like as if you had a giant splinter, like that could just easily be pulled out, but then there was like a little hole thereafter. And so before you even said it, like I asked my guide to put like a salve. So he went around putting a salve on all the holes. And then I love when you did the liquid gold. That felt really good. I was like, oh, I love the liquid gold. That was so cool. Um And I thought it was funny or interesting that the guide that appeared that wanted to do this for me was one of my regular guides that he's kind of like I have like a boardroom that they like sit around a rectangular table. There's like a board it's like a board of my guides or whatever. And he's like always the head guy. And he's like super, super just loving and like he appears as like a bald-headed gentleman who wears glasses. And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna do it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can do it." And it felt like double duty, like, that you have other like, why are you doing this? Like you anyway, but I thought it was funny that he volunteered, so that was cool. Um, so he did it and it was great. It was great to see him again. He's so loving and it was a great experience. And I also felt like a little tingly in my toes, like two times. And whenever I'm having work done, that's where I always feel like it's like a little prick or like a little poke. Um, and so I felt that. So I thought that was good. I don't know. Afterwards, I just felt like I don't know if I felt anything really. I mean, I did use the restroom. Maybe that was a release. I don't know. But no, it felt good. And I felt like I had a lot of them. I was like, I don't know if am I just thinking that I have a lot of them or did I really have a lot of them? You know what I mean? Like so anyways, so he was busy going around doing all of them. He like did all of them. And then you had said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about getting them all," but he got them all. So it was cool. So I loved it. It was great. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting also what you just shared right now about the ancestral thing because lately I've been struggling with leaving this volunteer group that has to deal with uh, kind of saving the traditions of like um, black dance and like that is stuff that's going away that isn't passed down or whatever. Like, anyway, so I recently decided, okay, I just need to leave. And so I think it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because I did some volunteer work for them, and now I feel like, okay, I've done some work for them, but I did feel like I was kind of held there for some reason, out of, maybe it was guilt, or like, oh, you should be supporting this, you know what I mean? And I guess I feel like now I can finally let it go, so that's good. But yeah, so it was a great experience. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing your experience. I love that feeling of like, yeah, you're ready to let it go. I think, and doing it without guilt or shame, right? Like we talked about, I think that that's an amazing thing. And I think, we do this work in a 15-minute guided meditation, but the magic really happens after, when we try to stay present and aware to some of the changes that we see in our life, whether they are just feelings like, okay, I'm ready to let go, or, maybe, I think a lot of us, one of the most common energy markers we see is around poverty. And I think too that a lot of that stems from the fact that a lot of us descend from immigrants who were here and had to stay under the radar. It's a trend that I see. It's very common. It's actually my ancestral lineage too. And so, like, a lot of times, like, our voices are not heard. We're not selected. We are living in, maybe not poverty, but we're not living our full potential. And I think that those are the energy markers that we work on. So when we stay present and we start to see changes to opportunities all of a sudden that fall in our path, or maybe it's, it could be things like, I once got a check from the IRS in the mail one day after doing this work. Like, immediately I stood up from my couch and went upstairs, and in the mail there was a check from the IRS. And so, I love that we're all staying aware and present to the changes that we can see in our lives after the fact, when we're done with the meditation. But Andrew, I wanted to say two other things, and then Kat, I'll turn it over to you. But one, I love that you brought up the Matrix. Yesterday, um, I went in to grab something from the grocery store and had a very sense of camaraderie and connection with the guy who was checking me out. And we actually stopped and like looked in each other's eyes for a second, which never happens in those situations. And we just kind of nodded and said hello to each other. But his t-shirt said The Matrix was a documentary. And I loved that. Like,
Oh, that's great.
but I loved your visual of all those cords coming out of the back, because that's exactly what I'd expect energy markers to even look like. We talked a little bit at the beginning that sometimes energy markers are integrated with chords, right? So again, it doesn't surprise me at all that chords were associated with your energy markers. And the last thing I just want to say is that a lot of times when we feel things coming in through the back, it's the indication of it's coming from the past. So I would say too, if we have things kind of sneaking in the back, a lot of it is unresolved issues from our past ancestors. That's kind of where I might turn my attention. And I had a teacher once who taught me this really neat trick where, if you feel like you have a lot of stuff in the back, you can literally take your whole aura, like it's a sweatshirt, and just turn it around so you're wearing it backwards. And then all of a sudden you have access to all of those frequencies and vibrations that sit in the back. So you can use your imagination. The sky's the limit when it comes to actually working with these things. But again, whatever you see, whatever you sense, I would just trust it. And I'm gonna say, I totally felt your spirit guide. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but at the end, like, we were trying to have closure to the experience, and I was like, God, what is this resistance? And then we asked your regular guides to come in to do that last minute nurturing. And I swear it's because some of those guides were pissed, and they were like, why did you why are you calling in someone special to do this work? This is what we volunteered to do. So kudos to you for like acknowledging your spirit, your regular spirit guide who's with you all the time, who wants to do this work. You don't need that specialist. I just think sometimes it's fun, but in the field, they were definitely feeling a little perturbed that they were not given the task of helping you with the energy markers. So I love that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah, cool. All right, Kat, I'm gonna turn it over to you for anything you wanted to add to Andrea, and then if not, we can close the room.
No, Andrew, just thank you for being here and sharing, your insights and your feedback. It's always fun to know what people are experiencing. sometimes it supports us and helps us. So we really appreciate you, and just invite you to continue on your journey of exploration and seeing, what comes up, and trust yourself, trust the guides, trust the energy. And as Kristin likes to say, let the energy do the work for you. So with that, Kristin, should we just share about some upcoming things and then close the room because we have about a minute left?
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks, Kat.
Okay. So like we said, come back on Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Those are the only 2 time zones I know right now that correlate. But come back. We're doing interferences all month of November. Next week, we will have a different topic, different than energy markers, but other types of interferences. Kristin's going to guide us through and do a little teaching at the top of the hour. And as we mentioned, in December, we'll be talking about darkness for the first 3 weeks of December. I think we're going to take the last week off. But darkness is not a bad thing. It's really good in some ways. So I can't wait to have that conversation. We used to talk about that on Clubhouse a few years ago, but we've learned so much more since then. So it's going to be a really powerful, impactful conversations. And with all of them, we'll have guided experiences. And then if you are interested in ancestral healing, Kristin does have a link above our heads. That link is just an information link about what's going on. We will be releasing soon a ancestral healing level 1 video course that has 3 components of live Zoom meetings to help support you through the holiday season if you're interested, but no obligation. Just that link is just information about different ancestral healing things and anything upcoming during these Clubhouse rooms and things like that. So that's a little bit about what's going on. You can follow us on Clubhouse, Instagram, YouTube, all the places, and get more information. But again, we thank you for your time, your energy, and presence. Go back and listen to the replay if you're just joining us at the end, or under both of our profiles and the club profiles. If you're interested, all the replays from the Fridays we've been doing since the beginning of October are there, and there are lots of guided meditations in each one to help enrich your experience or your curiosity. So thank you for being here, and we will close the room in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.